And please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day that you've given us. We ask that you'll be with this governing body tonight. Lord, we ask that you will bless them with the wisdom necessary to make the decisions that are in the best interest of your Son's name, Jesus. We ask all of this. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. First on the agenda is a request for Matthew Blankenship with the Eagle Scouts. Come on up. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, I guess you already heard my name's Matthew, but hello, my name is Matthew Blankenship. I'm from Boy Scout Troop, or a member of Boy Scout Troop 93, and I have chosen Lake Sharp Park for my location of my Eagle project. I have submitted proposals to the Buckskin Council, and they have approved for me to begin raising funds and getting permits and permission required for the project. My project is a hammock village behind the sidewalk behind the sidewalk near the upper softball dugout, if y'all know where that is.
So past that one gazebo.
Yeah, past the far gazebo up there. It's right up there behind the upper field.
Okay.
There's a big space there. My hammock village will be able to hang 5 hammocks, including like a shade screen, support poles between the 4 6x6 posts I'm going to have. I noticed the need for this project when I was competing soccer and cross country in Lincolnshire, because athletes are hanging their hammocks on trees and to relax after and before their events. And this is dangerous if a limb breaks, not just for the person who's in the hammock or for the tree in general. I'm estimating the total project cost $850. I'm currently raising over to cover the cost. I'm asking the town council to match at least half, which is $425, or more would be very appreciated. I'll give updates on my Eagle project as it develops and invite you to attend the grand opening when it's complete. But thank you for your support. And I have some papers I have to sign if you do approve of this project.
So, yeah, do you guys know what he's talking about with the hammock village? You'll see them in a lot of parks where they put these posts up and people can bring their hammocks and hang them up. So if there's a softball tournament or a soccer tournament or something, when people need time to rest, they can just hang their hammocks up and just lay out there.
Go to sleep,
take a break.
get drinks.
Good. I think it's a great idea.
I'm going to try to plan to get it built before the summer, before like the break field's going to be used a whole lot in the summer and everything.
Cool. Have you talked to the director after you?
No, I'm not that.
Hey, Ben.
This guy, I guess
Do you see any issues with taking up that space?
I think it'd be great.
Seems you right? I'm all for it.
See if you can get the money out of it.
Did you mind any of y'all?
So, do we want to, I guess we need.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, we need a motion.
Second.
Okay, I guess we need to know the amount also.
Yeah, you might want to amend your motion.
Make the motion that we support him in an amount of $425.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Like that?
Ain't no-
There you go.
All right, a couple things for you. Be sure to coordinate your construction with Ben back there.
I will. I'll make sure you know his name times on there.
And also, be sure to contact Gary Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
He's a county building official,
All right.
and he is going to have jurisdiction over your construction
For the
there.
permits and permission. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and he's going to question your structural, and I wanted to, so do you.
So make sure everything's clear.
Be sure Gary Jackson and Ben Rosado are team players with us. Good luck, congratulations. Give me a hammock too, I won't try it.
Hey, I got a couple of them. It's going to be a great opening.
He sleeps in that enough anyway. So.
Yeah.
But I do have a couple of things to sign.
Okay.
I'll bring it to you. I'll come over to you. So.
If you want to, just leave them with me and I'll get them.
Yeah, they bring her all.
This
That's
one
such
would
a
be,
great idea.
these 2 pages.
You see them in softball
This
fields all the time.
So basically, you said that all the time. So when
Should be 3 or 4 hours.
I'm very appreciative. I guess. To be honest, I mean, I have more to go put on here.
You just go all the way around.
It's been a while since I looked at this, so.
Well, thanks again. And we look forward to
Thank
seeing
you for approving it.
You're welcome.
Hey, John, I should have got you and your team to help me convince council to approve the budget. He did a pretty good job.
Next, we have Amanda Hoops, Claudia Blankenship, and Beth Clemens for updating us on the upcoming activities.
So we just wanted to come and give you an update specifically on First Fridays. If you remember, we came a couple months ago and asked you guys for permission to hold this event, and it passed. So First Fridays will be June 7th, July 5th, and August 2nd this year. The way that we're going to do it is the barricades. If you're familiar with how we did Oktoberfest, it's going to be the same but different. Only the east and west entrances are going to be barricaded, and then the only other netting is going to go in alleys, so the businesses are not going to be blocked. Which is like the ultimate goal is to bring people into our businesses. So those are the only places, and we'll get with you guys on the logistics of that. But I think that's pretty exciting in itself. The beer truck and the wine truck will be set up near the stage. Our plan for the first event, the band is going to be there at All-Kaiser Stage. We wanted to, if we can get access to a portable stage, we're trying to work that out. We would like to move the music down the street. So for the second event, we plan to move it down to Painted Peak so that we would bring the crowd to Painted Peak. And then for the third event, we wanted to move it to in front of the front porch so that everybody's reaping the rewards from the crowd that we're going to Main Street. So, what else? I'm not leaving out.
So for the first event, will the barricade be all the way down past Painted Peak?
Yes.
Okay, so it'll remain the same distance east to west? On all three. On all three, okay.
Yes.
All right.
We have bands.
We're going to, yes.
And the library is working with us for the movies on Main for the same evening.
The library is going to have those movies on Main on the first Friday, so that's another attraction on Main Street. They're even going to work with parents on signing their kids in so they can come out to Main Street and enjoy. We're going to have a wristband. We're still figuring out the logistics of how much we're going to charge for the wristbands. We might have 2 different options. But everything is in order with the ABC agent. And so I think we're good to go. We just wanted to make you guys aware of how the layout's going to be. We're probably going to start closing the street down at 5.
I would like to update you on the cruise ins and thank you all for supporting the cruise ins. I think this is probably the 5th year and they've been extremely successful and everybody really enjoys them. So our first one is Memorial Day weekend in May and will be the 4th Saturday of each month following that through September. So we're very excited about that. That always brings lots of folks out and everybody seems to enjoy it. It's a great fun family event, and so we're working hard to make that a success.
Yeah, it's getting bigger. I saw that last year.
It was great.
Way
That
down.
was a good job.
Oktoberfest update coming soon.
We're working very hard. We're also working on Main Street.
Stage.
I have a question for you on the First Fridays. to be how Oktoberfest is, where you can have alcohol throughout whole Main Street? There's not going to be like a roped off?
It's not going to be roped off. The only
Okay.
sections will be the entrances and then the alleys. The restaurants are going to extend they're going to have outdoor dining, and they will also be serving their drinks as well. So they will have their exteriors roped off, I think, by 300 feet outside. So those will be the only barricades.
I was just wondering, because you know how some events kind of have the beer garden area? I was just wondering if it was going to be like that. So,
We got approval from John Gunner and people above him to set it up this way, and it's really optimal. That way we're
Yes.
not blocking anybody off.
And the restaurant owners know, I mean, no one can come from the event into their establishment with the drink and vice versa.
Right.
So, we're encouraging them to have, an employee or someone at their door, their entrance throughout the events to make sure that that doesn't happen.
I would like to say one other thing. I want to compliment the Brewfest committee. I spoke with a vineyard in Wise today who came to our festival last year, and I called her about coming to the First Fridays, and she was telling me how much she enjoyed coming, and it was the best event she had ever done, and that it was managed the best of any event that she had ever attended. So I want to compliment our committee and the chamber for doing such a fabulous job and making a difference. So I want to thank you all for supporting us in that.
That's going to be interesting.
Main Street Moments, also, the chamber is organizing that event this year, and we have moved the concert back to Main Street. So it will not be at the high school as it has been in the last couple of years. So it's going to be back on Main Street.
And that's the Friday concert?
Yes, that's the Friday night concert, yes.
And amazing band.
That's where it should be.
The Works,
The work.
yes. They're out of
The Roanoke area.
Rocky Mount, down past Roanoke and Franklin County. They have a really big following.
Are next.
People seem to be excited about it, so.
They do a whole slew of things.
So that's all we have, I think. So thank you all so much for
Thank you all.
letting us do these things.
Thank you to bring people in.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the council meeting on March 19th and the budget work session on March 27th. I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
A motion, a second? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Next is the approval of financial statements and the financial report for March 2019.
Motion to approve?
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, so we have approval of financial statements and financial report. All right, next, the committee and conference updates.
That's our take a vote.
What's that?
Got a vote on that.
Oh, okay, yeah. All in favor? All opposed? All right, so we have approval. Ms. Brooks, can you give us a planning commission update?
Sure. We, at the meeting, the discussion was entirely about the ordinance for the zoning regulations. That's almost done. Is it done?
I had a draft to get out, so I was going to give it to Chris tonight to retool the definition for commercial area as opposed to commercial center, and to actually tweak the rest of the ordinance itself to fit what the discussions that you all directed me to handle. So I hope to be emailing it out to commission members probably tomorrow, and then you all can give me feedback, and we'll go from there to the next meeting.
Well, there was a very light attendance. We had 3 gentlemen from the VFW, and then Sharon Thomas was there, and I believe there was one other person in that. That was the extent of the public interest in this.
And just to recap, council's not really sure, we had a public hearing here.
And that was packed.
Yeah, and we actually here had I think it was three different
Yeah,
people.
three
that
people spoke.
Had three people speak, and there was some concerns brought up, but I just want to let council know the comments that were made were very accurate and with a lot of truth. You know, I'm trying to be as transparent as I can. So to echo some of those comments, it does give council a lot of power to do the jobs that you were basically elected to do on behalf of the citizens. So the other side of it is you're using that publicly elected right for the best interest of the community. So the overall idea of that zoning will not change. There's been some legal issues that have been addressed, but the overall route is not going to change. Planning Commission is not wanting to change it. There is still a big drive to protect the integrity of those business districts. And
So none of the people that spoke here came to the meeting to help with the...
They were just looking for information, I think. But
No, the ones that came and spoke at the...
Oh, yeah, no.
None of them came to help address...
No. But one interesting thing that was touched on at this planning commission meeting is we have a desperate need for some sort of regulation on the aesthetics of these changes that are coming to Main Street. Somebody needs to, keep from having a pink polka dotted trailer set up somewhere. And there's no regulation for that at all in place now. And I personally think that needs to be addressed.
that's a wonderful start for the Planning Commission.
Well, the Planning Commission sent that to the town council. They don't want to do it. They want the council to take it.
And what Nancy's referring, Mr. Councilman is referring to is the historic district. It's an overlay district just like the business overlay, the commercial area overlay. And the overlay district for historical designation has been in place now for several years. It requires the implementation, or I guess the creation of a historic review board, which we do not have, and that comes from the council.
I think it was one, I'd be almost willing to bet that when it was originally designated an historical district, and when it was sanctioned, by the way, as an historical district, it was probably a review board in place. And kind of like the Planning Commission, its existence 6 years ago was not. It just had to have been established. So we can go back and do some research in our records of town to see who was on there originally. Odds are they've been all around.
Well,
whatever.
I understood that Betty or St. Clair was on it, and I'm sure she's not going to do that now.
Right. And there's a lot of communities that demand shutters, demand the color of, historical buildings. So there's a lot of areas that, the council is going to be demanded to get into when you look at the historical district. Actually, the Boca Code, we only adopt a small portion of it. But that Boca Code is, you can actually not only do that in the historical district, but town-wide. So, yeah, there's a lot of areas that you can adopt in that Boca Code if you want to do it. So we'll bring that back before council, obviously, in due time. So that historical board is very valuable. And I've been part of one other one at another locality. So it's a very, so anybody that's in that historical district that has a house that's sanctioned historic, such as my home is in the historical district, but it's not a historical sanctioned home. But they have guidelines that they have to follow. And actually, Brad could comment to this board, but it ought to be almost an overlay, and actually it ought to be in the deed somehow, in a plat. A lot of people that buy those homes in those historic districts don't even know that they have like governance over the maintenance of their home. I appreciate the fact that the planning commission thinks it's a good idea, and maybe they want to pass the buck. But I would have also appreciated the fact, had they been here that night when we were bombarded by the community, saying, here's why we want to do it. I felt like we were left in the hanging. You can pass that along.
All right then.
No, Dr. Mullins, you want to give us, I assume that's all on the planning commission?
That's what I say.
So, Dr. Mullins, can we get an update on the training vote committee?
Well, as probably anybody knows, they talked to me, it's getting very exciting down at the train station. We are approaching our blast off on May 18th, so we hope everybody will certainly put that on their calendar to be there with us on May 18th. Todd and Chris Mitchell, who sort of coordinate that project down there, and the other county employees have just done a super job. If you haven't been down there, you need to go. Ask Beth or some other people who've been down there, call them. It is impressive, and I think they've done a great job. And I'm really looking forward to the 18th when we get to share what's been done with the community. And Todd tells me the parking lot looks great, but I've been down now, so I haven't seen the parking lot. But I'm sure it makes it.
Half of it was paved last week and the other half is finished today. So it's totally paved and I've got to write a $35,000 check. So.
And if you haven't seen the article written by Mr. Hyde in the Louisville Daily Telegraph, very good. He did a good job. Very good.
Let me ask, what about the traffic in the southern states? I don't have nothing against southern states, but they bring those big trucks in and they're kind of congested with traffic flow.
Right, we've communicated with them and Jeff is very much aware of the project. We actually based that side with 2 inches of base and 3 inches of overlay just for that heavier traffic there. So we're working with them. They will continue to roll trucks over that asphalt, but we've structurally engineered that asphalt to sustain the heavier traffic. The left side only has a 3-inch SM95 on it, so it's our specs on it. So yeah, we've taken that into effect and our communication with them is above board.
And on the 18th, we realized there's going to be a lot of traffic there too because of people coming. And we're hoping, I don't know if you've already contacted the county or not, but we talked about seeing if they could, if we could use the trolley, or the county would allow us to use the trolley, and people could park at the former Magic Mark parking lot and be trolley, which is appropriate too, that's where the trolley ran. And that would get more people down there who want to come, and maybe don't want to fight the congestion down there that day.
Well,
Yeah, we want to.
You can do that too.
That's it. That's it right now. We're going to be planning, the committee will be meeting with Todd and Robin and planning the program.
So now on to new business. I didn't see any unfinished business listed. So Todd, we have a donation request for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yes, if council will recall, last year, in my opinion, one of the most appreciative donations that the board ever made was to the teachers in Tazewell County by purchasing the shirts. And the shirts actually had and there's a name for this. I mean, it's Teacher Appreciation Week, is that what it is? Okay. So the shirts actually have a logo on it that says sponsored by the town of Tazewell. But I've got a letter from an individual that's playing part of that team. It's part of the team that's recognizing Teacher Appreciation Week. Last year, the expense was south of $1,700, and that provided shirts for every school, including the private schools that are inside our political jurisdiction last year. And I can tell you that they wrote letters, the teachers wrote letters. I've got them hanging in my wall, in the office, in my office. And it's real humbling, when council donates funds to any entity
for that entity to turn around and come back and say thank you. And we hear that quite a bit, but that was one of the most appreciative donations to the school system we've ever made. So you got that request again before you.
Did we, that was brought up to the county. Remember, the county
Yeah.
started, but they couldn't afford it.
Right.
And now it came to us.
Correct.
Did we make the full contribution?
Yes.
It was completely us?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a convoluted process. There was only, I think, a school or two that we were asked to fund, and then the county was going to fund another half of them, and the county was running into a deficit, so we picked up the rest of the schools, and then, the communication with the private schools, so we ended up taking care of it. Once again, every school inside of our political jurisdiction last year. The cost again was south of $1,700, and they're assuring that same.
Yeah, do you have this in our budget?
Yes, yes you do.
I'll make a motion to do this. Teachers they've been through pure, you know what?
Can I get a second?
Man,
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, ayes have it. Next is a donation request from Tazewell High School JV and varsity girls basketball team for basketball camp and new uniforms.
Okay, my name beside this, but just for transparency, I've got a major conflict in this. Because I do have a daughter that
So I guess it'd be you and Dr. Brown would have
a conflict, so if somebody wants to pick it up, but it's a request for funding. Every sport we have, baseball, football, they all do what they can to raise funds. You have boosters, etc. They're just looking for any type of donation, obviously.
I would have a question. I know I've been out of the loop for 5, 6 years, whatever. But it used to be every 2 years, 4 years, or whatever, that was budgeted for new uniforms for certain sports. Is that gone away?
I can find out the answer.
I honestly don't believe the school's budget for it anymore. Because they're always asking for.
Right, but like I said, even 5, 6 years ago, it was every so many years ago.
do something like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if they asked the county or not.
Yeah, no, the county would do it for one.
What is the price range?
Specified a dollar amount in this email that they sent.
I'd like to get a price range on this right here.
Did we do it last year?
This is the first time they've ever asked the town, but I can tell you, and once again, I'm trying to be as transparent about it,
Right.
but I can tell you that their objective is to raise $8,000 before the school year, before the...
These are the same girls that were here last
Correct.
meeting.
That's correct. And new ones coming up, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, you are correct.
And how many girls are involved in both groups?
I think it was 15
Altogether?
I think so,
So
yeah.
you're looking at the most 30, if you had to count 2 teams.
Right, but yeah, they can't recruit that many.
Right, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's probably 20 to 30.
See what the county's going to come up with.
Can you?
How would that happen?
I said I would.
You've got 0 to 10, and 50 to 200,
Because it's for one specific school night. Yeah.
11 to 50, and 50 to 300. So that's what historically we've done. If you want to proceed, and once again, I want to make it clear, either way you go, I'm just doing that.
Did you all hear those guidelines?
Can we
No, I didn't
can
hear
somebody
what
find
was
out if that is completely, I'm not doubting, but that it's been completely taken out of the budget, athletic budget?
School budget?
Yeah.
Sure.
What was the guy?
The guidelines for that number of students or involved individuals is up to $300, 50 to $300.
How many?
We're guessing there's 20 to 30 girls.
Guesstimating. It's somewhere between something and 50, what was the bottom number? Wrong, what was that bottom?
5300.
For 11 to 50 participants.
For 11 to 50 participants, and I'm sure there's somewhere between there in those
How many
50.
athletes are on the team?
We're
Somewhere
guessing
between
20 to 30 between the two.
Somewhere between 11 and 50, we're guessing 30.
Jeez.
According to our guidelines, we could give them $300. So I would move that we give them $300.
I would second that. I know from experience that girls' sports are not supported in the same way that boys' sports are. So
But we
we're probably
certainly-
hurting from money more than the boys' sports.
We can do our part.
Yes.
I just wonder what the county will do when they take this money on football.
I don't think the county's going to support, Tazewell not support those.
If they do it, they have to do it 3 times.
Right.
3 times through school, rented schools.
And other, unless it comes out of Mike's discretionary money that he gets.
He might not.
No, the school's not.
There's nothing.
Todd, we've got a motion to go with the 300 and a second. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Let's go for 300.
I couldn't say no. Something's happening.
The dog park recommendation?
Okay, historically, I know David will recall this, but we've used Dunford Park as an area for the police department's rec training. We've used it for soccer. We've also floated kayaks down the same area that they play soccer on. It gets flooded, a number of times a year. But I've recently had a request for council's consideration to transfer the use of that property into a dog park. I'm not here tonight with a cost, but I am here tonight to seek council's interest so that I can proceed to bring something to you the next council meeting when it comes to cost. But dog park will consist of a larger chain link fence for dogs to run free in, and then another smaller area for smaller dogs. It will also have a wash station in it, a water, also potable drinking water will be available for dogs. There's questions right now as to whether to put the loopy-loops in it or just things for the dogs to run through, or just to leave it a grass or a mulch area. But I do have that request that I would like for council to consider doing it. Again, the individual that's making the request is big on soccer. So,
Just saying.
yeah, so,
Who's that?
Mr. Harmon, Mr. Fred Harmon. Yeah, so the area can't be used for soccer, obviously, and opinions may vary on that, but I've brought the request before
Is
council.
this like a training facility, where you train your dogs also?
I'm sure if you want to train them in there, you can, but just, I can't say that I've had any experience in some of the larger cities that may have dog parks, but I know that it can draw people. I don't know of one in the area, but I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about because I don't.
So you just wanting guidance?
I'm just wanting to proceed, if you want to proceed into looking at it, bring you back a cost.
I make a motion to proceed.
Okay.
I second it.
All in favor to proceed with dog park?
Aye.
All opposed?
I would like to see what it looks like.
Well, that's what we're giving him
They're not
approval
approved
to
to
do.
do it, just.
Yeah, he's just going to fund it.
Yeah, he's not going to build it. He's,
Okay, I agree on that.
okay. So all opposed? Okay, Todd, you can move forward.
All right,
So next is the review of the First Community Bank line of credit.
yes, we've got, as council is well aware, we have 2 lines of credit that we use throughout the fiscal year for last minute purchases or to offset slow times of revenue during the fiscal year. We have always been able, within the same fiscal year, during November, December, to true up on all of those lines of credit, but I do need a motion for cancel. The bank, First Community Bank, is needing council's approval to redo that $350,000 line of credit. And by the way, both lines of credit have a zero balance on them, half for several months, but we may need it tomorrow or something.
When you say redo, does that mean?
Yeah, cancel every year. What they're trying to target is they don't keep up with election years.
Right.
So what they know if they get the governing body to approve the existence of that line of credit, then every new council member that comes on is agreeing to have it. So
So it's not renegotiating rates or anything like that, it's just?
it's just,
okay.
we still have the line, you still have the line of credit.
Okay.
If you don't approve it, they'll just take the line of credit. So,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, got approval. So next is the approval of the 2019-2020 budget public hearing for May 14th at 7:15.
all I need is a motion to move forward with the public hearing based on the budget work sessions that were finalized tonight.
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, motion granted. Is there anyone else that may have signed in?
No, but I was going to talk a little more about the dog park recommendation. That's something I've kind of been looking into. So I can-
Yeah, absolutely.
So you the dog park man.
Well, I know Fred Harmon has brought it up, and it's something I've actually looked into many times. I came from Northern Virginia, a big area. Dog parks were great because it's just spacious areas, a lot of suburban area up north, so there's not a lot of places where you can just throw a ball and let the dog run. The benefit of a dog park is something you can advertise anywhere, and people will pull off the side of the road just if they're traveling with their dog, just let them run around and let out that energy. Basically, the way it's broken up, like Todd was saying, it's going to be two pieces. There'll be fenced, it'll be a giant enclosure fenced in, and then there's a partition in the middle so that we can split the larger dogs and the smaller dogs, and then a separate gate at the beginning to where they can take the dogs off the leash before they actually enter it and then go through the gates. Normally they consist of just a little fountain, like a higher fountain, so like two different level fountains for the smaller dogs and the bigger dogs that are right in the middle of the partition. The biggest thing for them is more so somebody can throw their arm out if they want to let their dog chase it. That's just the ultimate goal of a dog park. They can sit down, there'll be benches there for the people to sit and just let their dogs frolic. If they don't have space in the backyard, front yard, or even an enclosure where they can trust that their dog will run away. It's more so just to get people out and let their dogs just run free, and then at the same time just be outside and enjoy it. But it does raise a lot of value for places. The closest one is in Blacksburg. And if you actually Google dog park online, for some reason Lincolnshire is considered a dog park. I don't know why, but it's up there as Lincolnshire Park is dog park. And not to mention another thing it would help with, in the past month, I've had a lot of different phone calls talking about the leash law and this and that at the park. It's so spacious back there, the dogs don't mean any harm or anything, but people take them off their leash, and some people just don't like that. You put a dog park, they can let them off their leash, which is the purpose, to let them run freely, not be restrained, and it kind of gives them more freedom. And that's kind of the benefit of a dog park. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm looking at different things. I'm talking to different companies. I've looked at different setups. I don't have the full price yet either, but I think it's a very good investment to kind of put in. I think Dunford, like I said, I've talked to Fred Harmon as well. And I mean, you can barely play soccer on that even when it's a dry day. So I think utilizing that for a dog, dogs don't care if it's wet, dry, or anything. They'll run around it.
What about the cleanups?
Well, the cleanups, if we just put mulch, it's something that can constantly be filled out. I have to look at different places that donate. I've looked at a lot of places just donate mulch. And for flooding, something that if it goes down, it'll be stuck in the fence or redistributed. Other dog parks actually don't put anything. They just leave it grass. Personally, it's going to destroy it, look a little bad, so I'd rather put something on there and make it look classy rather than just a big mud hole. but there are many options in terms of surfacing for the dogs to run around. And I know like the kids zone, we have that same mulch can be used for those dogs.
Clean up,
Yeah, we'll have dogs, they're in charge. Yeah, we have some at the lake, we will have those same doggy bags, and they are responsible for cleaning up after the dog. Yeah.
No, unless you want to go out there.
Oh, heck no, that's what I'm trying to get straight here. I want to make sure it's clean.
I just want to be a little clear. I think it is something that would benefit Tazewell very well.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I think if we happen to be the first community in this area to do it, all the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, I need a motion to close here and go to executive session. I guess second? All in favor?
You gotta read it.
Gotta read.
Oh. Yeah.
Whereas the Tazewell Town Council has convened an executive session on this day pursuant to affirmative record vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, whereas,
Nothing. Go ahead.
am I reading the wrong one? This is the only one I have.
I think we're reading the last one.
You're reading the second one, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have.
You have the other one.
It's the same one.
Well, maybe it's the same one, just keep reading. Or if you do it maliciously, it's illegal. If you do it, but you're not doing it
Whereas 2.1-344.1 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this council that such executive session will be conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved, the Tazewell Town Council hereby certifies that we will hold an executive session and only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law will be discussed in the executive session to which this certification resolution applies. And only such public business matters will be identified in the motion convening the executive session will be heard, discussed, or considered by the Tazewell Town Council. How's that?
I've got to be back out here in 15 minutes.
Yeah.